It looks really boring, but they actually changed my life. My name is Rihanna Hughes. I'm an English teacher and lead practitioner at Clacton Coastal Academy. I'm a Teach First 2017 ambassador, and I'm going to talk to you about some must-have teacher stationery. So the first thing I would suggest that you cannot live without as a teacher is a multi-purpose pen. They have lots of different stylish ones if you care about that sort of thing, but they have 4 different colours. So I use my red pen for marking on the move, so looking at students' literacy, leaving some comments on the work as I go around, which can be really helpful. At my school, the policy is that students respond to feedback in a green pen. So instead of then scrambling around to make sure that the student has a green pen ready to go, I can just flick it onto my green pen, give my pen to the student, and they can respond instantly to that feedback, which is really helpful. There's a black pen and a blue pen, just so that I can then use that in my planner or in my own marking. And instead of them having a tote bag full of pens, which I'm sure you'll end up having anyway, you've got one handy pen that does it all for you, which is very helpful. On the subject of pens, you can never have too many pens. I always have some fancy coloured pens in my classroom drawer. Pink is my favourite, obviously. You will be really surprised what difference something like offering a different colour pen can have to a student. So if they've come in a little bit reluctant, not really feeling learning today is taking a bit of warming up, giving them a pink pen so that they feel like they've been given a little bit of a reward can be really helpful. Some of my trickier students respond really well to a favourite colour pen. It's something to check with your department, that it's not getting in the way of any specific policies, but same work, same students, same high quality learning, but a pink pen will make all the difference. Whiteboard pens. There is a lot to be said for a really high quality whiteboard pen, and why have one when you can have 3? So I'll have my trusty black pen. I always recommend writing in black pen rather than blue, because if there's any glare from any windows or lights, that can make the writing look a bit funny from the back for some students. So the darker the pen, the better. However, as I said, our school policy is to respond in green pen when you're doing feedback or marking your work. So having a green board pen really helps to model to students and to show them exactly how their exercise book should look. So if I'm writing down some of their answers on the board in black pen, as it would look in their book, I can then show them exactly how to mark that in the same colour pen that they would be using in their book. So it really supports students to visualise what their own work should look like and to make sure it's meeting our expectations. I also have a red pen so that I can make that really explicit to students when I'm modelling if I would make any edits to my work. Students can find it tricky sometimes if everything is then in black pen. They can struggle to distinguish between the original writing and any improvements. So I will always have those 3 colours. I also have some purples and pinks, just when I'm feeling like I need a bit of a pick-me-up on a Friday after a long week. If I had to have just one piece of technology in my classroom to support with delivering really high quality lessons, it would have to be a visualiser. There are lots and lots of different types, so a high quality one, budget depending, would always be my favourite thing. But again, on that idea of modelling and showing students exactly what we're looking for in their work, this is a real game changer. So it's effectively a fancy camera. Top tip is to get one that is really long so that you can see a big A3 piece of paper underneath. Some of them come with lights, some you can zoom in and out, which is really helpful. And you just plug this into your computer, put your worksheet in front of you or a blank exercise book to show them exactly what that would look like. And then students can see really clearly what they are needing to do, especially in terms of modelling, which is so important in teaching, not just to tell students what to do, but to show them how. A visualiser is an absolute essential for your classroom. Students are always asking how they can revise and how they can work independently. So my favourite thing to recommend to students are flashcards. Not particularly jazzy, not particularly technological, but an absolute game changer. So they're just some nice bits of card. I always go for pastel colours. One, because they look nice, but also it really helps the written information on the flashcard to really stand out and to be the focus. I always get the lovely ladies at resources at my school to do them so that they're all the same size. And I always ask for them to have a hole punch in the corner. The reason for this is that we can then give students treasury tags so that they can bundle their notes together. So I teach English, as I said, so I would suggest to students to use this for something like quotation retrieval. So they can put a quotation on one side with a word missing, the answer on the back, and they can use the flashcards to quiz themselves, quiz a friend, sort their flashcards into 2 piles, ones that they remembered, ones that they didn't, and that can really kickstart their revision. They can be as jazzy with that as they want, so I might say to them to have a different colour flashcard per character in a text, and then they could use the treasury tag to bundle them all together to keep themselves nice and organised, and they can have lots of different piles that gives them a practical element to revision rather than just copying their notes out over and over again. I asked myself, if my classroom was to burn down, what would I need urgently to be able to teach my next lesson? And that is literally what I would grab, which is quite sad actually.